Technology really has evolved a lot, and it's evolving even as this video is being recorded, even as you're watching it, and it's going to continue to evolve almost every single day that we are, with massive amounts of new data being available, different methodologies of actually restructuring the aspect of the supply chain and where we're at. A lot of, if you look at some of the very basics when we talk about technology, a lot of times we have the PC computing power now is fully engaged in an awful lot of different transactions. The PC is typically what we call the client, and the main processor or the mainframe or the headquarters computer that's coordinating everything. We normally call that a server, and the PC is the client. The server really is the information place we download things. But an awful lot of times we put it up into the cloud, and the cloud is a giant memory bank. Almost every single major organization has some type of secondary bank where we keep other data that we actually store on a regular basis. It's pretty common to have a 24-hour, really a matter of storing everything within 24 hours into an off-site aspect of it. And that way the data remains intact, even if the main system gets hacked and it goes down. One time recently, my orientation is obviously from a college because that's where I work. One time we had one entire college, they didn't have any backup storage, and literally somebody came in, they hacked into their system, they demanded a ransom, and their entire student record system was compromised, not just for a week or 2 weeks, it was compromised for 5 months before they got it up and running. Even though supposedly the insurance company paid for the ransomware, it never was fully restored, and they had to almost rebuild their system. Now they have a backup system inside of some mountain someplace where they download it every 24 hours to make certain that type of thing won't happen. And of course, it costs a premium dollar to do that. But really, if you want to have some type of security, and every single component of your entire supply chain needs to have some type of security on it, because the world is moving till the projections are by the year 2025, cyber theft will be a bigger crime than all of the drug trafficking on planet Earth. It's coming, it's here, and it's a matter of we need to pay attention to it and address it in a really powerful way to make certain that our supply chain is safe in the process. That really comes down to the aspect of the client server, that connection, having multiple different ways of ensuring the PC is safe and the server is safe, and make certain that there's different types of sophistication and price for the clients out there, how many servers they have, look at the design parameters, and make certain everything sync, and make certain you're really dealing with the person that it says that you're dealing with. That's a big deal. Sometimes a lot of people are putting some fraudulent aspects out there, but apparently we've all gotten used to that as part of our everyday digital life. Enterprise application integration, it really takes the process of collecting data from different databases around the entire supply chain. It formats them in a way that we can actually integrate it right smack dab into each different ones of our planning tools. We talked about all the different ways there's planning. It goes far beyond the aspect of strategic, tactical, and operational plans. It goes into planning for the aspect of your forecasting system and all the different components of your supply chain we've talked about, that middleware aspect. And really, we're going away from physical processes with electronic ones. Nowadays, it's pretty common when you sit down and go on the website, say, I want to find a phone number to talk to a human. You can't find a phone number on the website whatsoever because of the fact that everybody is shifting over then to chatbots and AIs taking over all the main processing, and you have to have a friend on the inside business to sneak you that magic elixir called a phone number to a human. The world shifted, and it's going to shift even further into this whole world run by digital aspects of it. Pay attention to it and make certain you're on top of it and don't get crushed in the process of ignoring it or not being on the cutting edge of your electronic business aspect. It really facilitates interaction between companies as well as each single aspect of your supply chain. A lot of times on an internet order, you push one button and everything clicks right into place. That happens, but it only happens with good, solid programming, hopefully stuff that you're involved with. upper level sophistication. There's one-way communication on web browsing. You click something in, and they give you a menu, and hopefully you can figure out what the menu says. Direct database access for retrieving personal data is very common out there. Heaven forbid that you should ever sit down and lose your password or your ID or your social security number or your mother's maiden name. It's all sitting out there waiting for somebody to grab and use against you or damage your supply chain or sit there and shift and alter the different aspects of it. The security aspect is big since we're talking about technology. Electronic data exchange, EDI, we call it. Really, it's a whole series of bases of some of the applications are. And even though I'm talking about EDI, XML, Rosetta Net, that's the language of today. Tomorrow, these things, unless they continually update themselves and be on top of the game, they will be obsolete in 3 years because somebody else is going to come out with something else, be the ultra cool thing. Pay attention to it, make certain that your data is pristine on a regular basis. And if you fully commit into some type of an operating system, make certain that you can change it if you need to, or if that company has a problem and that company gets bought out and bought out and bought out. It's pretty common nowadays to have that happen, especially in the tech industry. Make certain that you have a good, solid contract with good, solid protection in the process. The Rosetta Stone in business, oh yeah, it's going to really handle everything else. And of course, your writer is involved with it, everything else. And in textbook, they're totally committed to it. Maybe they have stock in it. I don't know. But by the time you're all done, it carries the same message in different languages throughout the entire system, making certain it's out there. A lot of it really is about defining your dictionaries, your different partner interface processes, make certain everybody's talking. If the purpose of the Rosetta Stone was actually one language, two language, three languages, and it had the same message in all three languages, if you can pull that off on an electronic basis, which is what Rosetta Net attempts to do, then you can sit down and have a fully integrated system and actually have some high-tech vendors be able to work with you that you never had access to before. It's kind of expensive to implement. It costs money because you're actually not doing just one language, but multiple, but really is a web-based standard that's out there. But the standard's going to change. Make certain you're on top of it. But of course, keep in mind on the context. Last chapter, we talk about the aspect of business structure. Investing solely in IT is not the solution to having a well-defined supply chain. Investing in business structure has a higher priority than having your IT. Now, you should have both of them, but really your structure is critical in determining the speed of your supply chain, and the IT is an implementation tool rather than the structural tool to do that. Your IT should sit down and fulfill what the expectations that are demanded by the business structure. That enhances your vendor managed inventory, which you all know that everybody wants to have the lowest level inventory, but also the most accessible inventory for the end customer. Joint forecasting along the entire supply chain, good IT will help you, but the definition of forecasting needs to come from the business structure, and the IT is that implementation aspect of it. Past sales trends is always a big deal. Whenever I do a budget, three different expectations: what I truly expect, when the world is rosy, when the world is dark. You do all three of them, have them already out there, look on your different types of forecasts and process. And today, we're rapidly replacing all human interaction with AI, robots, and electronic communication, for better or worse. Push for cross-company, cross-chain applications that'll really be helpful. The Rosetta Net is a really good concept. The reality, though, is in a few years, unless they keep their currency and technology, something else will replace them, because we're moving by leaps and bounds, almost generations of IT, different programming in a matter of a few years. That being said, business process first. IT should be the tool to implement the business process that's determined by your supply chain needs. Take care.